Aidan Manua was watching it for us today. He joins us now. What's your biggest takeaway from what you saw in this clash, Aidan?
To be honest, I think from my perspective and probably the perspective of quite a few others, we thought maybe Brentford would be struggling a bit this season, you know, with the changing manager, losing some of the attackers that they had. But again, they just seemed to find a way. I thought Chelsea were the better side overall throughout the game. But the fact that there's that never say die attitude from Brentford is something that we're used to seeing, and they're just doing it with slightly different personnel now. And I think the fact that Chelsea have kind of given away those 2 goals, I think they'll be hugely disappointed, because I think within that game itself, they moved the ball well. They seem to be controlling tempo. They weren't creating a ton of really big chances, but on comes Cole Palmer. You see different types of opportunities, and he had a very big chance, which unfortunately was saved by Kelleher from his perspective. But yeah, to give Brentford credit, the fact that they never give up, and there'll be so many teams that will go to their stadium this season and feel like the game is going in their favour, but then they can just have those little moments. And you know, to give Jordan Henderson credit for that assist, it's a great ball in behind for Shard, a great ball. And then in the end of the game, as I say, get the bodies in there, it's the physicality. And I think from a Chelsea standpoint, you've got Garnacho marking Carvalho at the back post, and that shouldn't really matter if you make the first contact. But when you miss that first contact with their flick on, before you know it, anything could happen. And yeah, Brentford will be absolutely delighted with that point, I feel.
Stevie, Chelsea denied at the death the victory.
Yeah, Championship winning teams don't do that. Not against the team. I mean, I think Nedum's been kind to Brentford, because I thought they were pretty awful. I mean, we showed the stats there. I don't remember 4 shots on target. When I think of the game, all I think about is a rear guard action, getting bodies in the way from shots and making challenges. You know, Brentford didn't play football today. And yes, you got to give them credit for keeping going, but Chelsea, 100%, this is down to them. They absolutely threw 3 points away, completely dominated the game. Goodness knows how many passes they had, but total domination, and I think it was pretty much a little bit of robbery. But as I said, you don't win the Premier League title if you throw 2 points away against a side like Brentford, who will be struggling. This team will struggle big time all season.
Obviously for Cole Palmer, getting a goal today is important for him to get the season underway.
Well, I suppose so, but if Cole Palmer is the player that I think he is, he's happy about having scored the goal, but he's probably thinking about the chance that Nedum mentioned. And it was a point in the game in which you felt like it was getting away from Brentford, and it was all Chelsea all the time. He scores that, makes it 2-1. At that point, it didn't feel like Brentford were ever going to come back. Now, you give credit to Kelleher and coming up with the save, but it's a chance that falls to the left foot of Cole Palmer right around the penalty spot. With full momentum going towards goal, it's got to go in the back of the net. So I know what you're trying to do, Kate, turning it into a positive for Cole Palmer. And of course, scoring is something that makes it a good game for you. But when your team doesn't get the 3 points and you know you had a clear opportunity, if you are any player that have anything about you, you know you're going to be thinking about that one, because that one hurts.
I think the same, Nathan, mixed feelings for Cole Palmer that he gets his first goal of the season, but then he has that chance.
Yeah, I'd think so, yeah. And I think with Cole Palmer, the conversation that was being had amongst the commentary about this game was the fact that we saw him do well in the Club World Cup, for example, but that was his first goal in the league since January. And that's such a big surprise for a player that has the quality that he has. Because as Steve was saying, like, look at that finish. It's the easiest thing in the world for him. Just a little half volley, just slam that into the corner. Well, that's why we fully believed that he'd score that other chance that he had from the cutback on the right-hand side. But I think, as is the case with most things in football, when you make a mistake, as long as it doesn't matter, you can almost laugh and joke about it. But then all of a sudden, when that second goal goes in for Brentford, that discussion about that chance is a slightly different one now, because it's a case of we have to score these goals. If we want to be a team that wins the league, as Stevie's saying, we have to be able to capture these moments and not sort of succumb to dropping 2 points so late in a game away from home where we've been so comfortable. So I think Cole Palmer will be disappointed from that. But I think he'll also just be hoping for a clean bill of health now, because he's had a few injuries in the last few months, which is in some ways a bit unlike him in these first 3 years of his career. So yeah, there's disappointment, but again, him being out there is always going to be a huge bonus for Chelsea.
Chelsea is going to be really disappointed in how easily Brentford, without doing a whole lot, are able to score goals. The first goal Yeah, it's a good ball from Jordan Henderson, but it's a ball into an area in which you already have two defenders there, and yet Shada is allowed to just cut to the inside, and it felt like Brentford didn't have to do a whole lot to get themselves in a dangerous position and be scoring a goal. The second goal, yes, it's a long throw-in, but you ought to be able to defend this, particularly and especially late in the match. See it out. See it through. Be a championship team. Be a championship winning team. If indeed that's the aspiration for Chelsea, to Stevie's point, these are things that you cannot allow to happen.
You got the final thoughts, AV?
Chelsea's Achilles heel, no question, is defensively. The centre-back partnership with Colwell not there is in fact, the little triangle between the two centre-backs, Tosin Chalobah and the goalkeeper Sanchez, is really where their weakness is. And we saw it today on that first goal. I know it was Fofana that was with Tosin on that occasion, but regardless of who they put there, that's where their weakness is, and that's going to...
Right then, Blues. What an absolute gut-wrenching afternoon it was at the G-Tech Community Stadium. I'm telling you, that's exactly the sort of result that'll have Enzo Maresca tossing and turning tonight. We've just witnessed Chelsea throw away what should have been 3 comfortable points in a match that had title-challenging team written all over it, until those final, devastating moments. Let's cut straight to the chase here. We dominated that game for 85 minutes. Maresca's tactical setup had us controlling possession, nearly 70% of the ball, and creating the better chances and looking every inch the superior side. But football, as every Chelsea fan knows all too well, isn't just about pretty passing patterns. It's about taking your moments and, crucially, seeing games out when you're ahead. Before we dive into the heartbreak of today's result, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're building the most passionate Chelsea community on YouTube, and we need every blue aboard for what promises to be a roller coaster season. The narrative of this match was written in 3 acts, wasn't it? First, we looked comfortable but toothless. Without our talisman Cole Palmer in the starting assist, Kevin shade punished some sloppy defending. From Tosin Adarabioyo in the 35th minute, clever cut onto his left foot that left our center back for dead before sliding low past Robert Sanchez. Then came the Cole Palmer show. The moment our star man stepped onto that pitch in the 56th minute, everything changed. You could feel the shift in energy, the belief flooding back into the team. His equalizer was pure class, being in exactly the right place as Juan Pedro's header fell perfectly for him to sweep home. That's what genuine world-class players do. They make the difficult look effortless. Moises Caicedo's thunderbolt in the 85th minute looked like it had sailed the comeback. What a strike that was. From the edge of the box, arrowing into the corner with the power and precision that reminded everyone why we paid big money for this lad. For a brief, glorious moment, we thought we'd done it. Another typical Chelsea comeback in West London. But then came the sucker punch that'll haunt us for weeks. Fabio Carvalho's intervention in the 3rd minute of stoppage time was the sort of goal that championship-winning teams simply don't concede. A ball across the face of goal, a scramble at the far post, and suddenly we're walking away with 1 point instead of 3. The frustrating thing is this match perfectly encapsulated both our strengths and our persistent weaknesses under Maresca. When Palmer's on the pitch, we look like genuine title contenders. The way Enzo Fernandez and Pedro Neto combined down the right flank for the equalizer was breathtaking football. These are players growing in stature, players who could genuinely haul us back into title contention. But our defensive frailties remain glaringly obvious. That first goal exposed the same old problems. When Trevor Chalobah pushed forward, it left Tosin isolated against Shade's pace and movement. Jordan Henderson's long ball wasn't particularly special, but our defensive positioning was amateur hour. What's particularly galling is how we managed to concede twice to a Brentford side sitting 17th in the table. Don't get me wrong, Keith Andrews deserves credit for his team's never-say-die attitude. They defended with discipline, took their chances when they came, and showed exactly why they're such awkward opponents. Cole Palmer's return gives us massive hope. His first appearance since the opening weekend reminded everyone just how crucial he is to this team. The lad doesn't just score goals, he elevates everyone around him. Pedro Neto looked sharper, Enzo Fernandez found more space, and suddenly we were creating clear-cut chances. But here's the brutal truth. Teams with genuine title ambitions don't throw away leads like this. Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, they kill games off when they're in control. They don't allow 17th place teams to score dramatic equalizers in the dying seconds. The positive takeaways? We're creating chances, we're controlling games, and Palmer's back fit and firing. Maresca's possession-based system is starting to click, and when we get it right, we look unstoppable. But championship winning mentality means seeing out results like today. This result feels like a microcosm of our season so far. Moments of brilliance undermined by defensive lapses and mental fragility. We're currently sitting fifth, fifth with 7 points from our opening fixtures. But performances like today show why we're still some way off the title conversation. The international break gives Maresca time to work on our defensive solidity. We can't keep shipping soft goals if we want to be taken seriously as title contenders. Levi Colwill's injury absence is clearly being felt. Our centre-back partnership needs more communication and understanding. What's your verdict on today's performance, Blues? Are you as frustrated as I am with how we let this one slip away? Was Palmer's return the highlight in an otherwise disappointing afternoon? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest Chelsea analysis. Until next time, keep the blue flag flying high. We'll bounce back stronger.